Hi, I'm Danica Tormohlen, reporting for InformaConnect, including Trade Show News Network, Corporate Event News, and BizBash. And I am at the Hilton event in New York City, and we just had a great presentation by Hilton talking about some of the new trends that they are seeing for the next generation of meeting attendees and guests. I'm joined today by Bonnie, who is the brand leader for Embassy Suites. Welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bonnie was one of our panelists, and she talked about some of the trends that we're seeing. I don't have the numbers all right in front of me, but what was one of the numbers that really stood out to you in particular?
I think that
we're definitely seeing those same kind of trends. So Hilton has developed a playbook, right? Like some things that meeting planners can do, for instance, help attendees feel welcome, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about some of those.
Yeah, so the playbook, this is the playbook right here, is available to hotels to use and to provide to meeting planners who are working with them, to give them some thought starters and some ideas of things to bake into the plans as they're creating these events, whether it be a one-day meeting or a multi-day event, to make people feel comfortable, considered, and confident, so that when they're at this event, they are then free to hear everything that's being said and apply it to their workspace and not be worried about the logistics of the event or how things are going to go or missing things like that.
And that's driven a lot by the work from home trend, right? And people coming back, being in the workforce, maybe not being with their team members, maybe attending an event for the first time and not knowing anybody, getting them to feel welcome and comfortable at an event. So ways that you can help do that. Talking about, for instance, like we're here at an event space in New York and you've got like quiet spaces. So tell us about some of those other that Hilton is working on and helping meeting planners with like that.
In our study, people told us that having back-to-back sessions without any downtime, without any breaks, either to just have a second to yourself or be able to check in with what's happening back at home, back at the office, and make sure work is continuing, and if something hot is happening, that they're able to have a second to respond to that without missing out on the event that's going on. So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it is just to have a minute to exhale and go, okay, think about who did I just meet, take a note. I want to make sure I keep in touch with Danica. I want to connect with her on LinkedIn, all those things that if you don't bake that in to the agenda, then people feel overwhelmed, and you don't want them leaving exhausted. You want them leaving feeling energized and inspired to go back to work and apply what they've learned and they've heard, or they may have met somebody who can help their career, and so there's a relationship to build based on what they experienced at that event.
I heard somebody say from on the panel, start later, end earlier, and longer breaks. That's an overall an easy way to look at it and think about it when you're putting together your program and your schedule. I liked also what you said. I've been hearing more and more of this too. The next gen really wants to know their schedule, right? They want it in advance. They want to know what is on the agenda so they can plan their time, maybe more so than some previous meeting attendee generations.
Sure. And they know now that we can work from anywhere, for many jobs can be done from anywhere. They know, all right, this meeting is really important that's happening at home, and I can do this breakout and still be able to go to that quiet space and participate in that. But they can only do that if they have that agenda in advance and are able to plan. So enabling all of that is really important.
Yeah. I loved one of the other trends that you talked about, and we are seeing it in terms of frolleagues. So I had never heard that term before. So tell us what that means and how you're seeing that play out.
So for folks who've worked together for a long time, we spend a lot of time at work, and those are our friends. And so I love my frolleagues. I have a great group of frolleagues, and when we get to go away together for work, that's a great perk, and being away from home is not hard when you've got frolleagues. On the other side, you've got Gen Z who may not work together in an office environment with their coworkers. And so to be able to develop that friend group in person is a really important side effect, if you will, of getting together and forming those bonds so that the next time they're excited to go see those folks that they see every year at this event, or their industry friends that they always see at PCMA, for instance. Understanding that work friends are friends.
Right. And there was a stat that I thought that was interesting. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but the number of people that they had met at an event that helped them in their career.
Yes. And you never know who you're going to meet, whether there's a sticker on a name tag that sparks a conversation, but you never know who you're going to meet at these events who might help you get your next step, or might come in handy down the road when you're trying to learn more about a particular part of your business, or get to know a certain customer type that helps you coming from these events. So you just never know.
That brings up another good point. Here on our name badges, we have stickers that they were giving out at the front door when we registered, and it is not only it's an inexpensive way, the idea is to spark conversation. We've got like dogs on here, mountains, Netflix versus YouTube. So it doesn't have to be an expensive way to make a connection. You just want to spark connections.
Absolutely. So what kind of dog do you have?
I have 2 Weimaraners.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a Labradoodle.
See, and again, it sparks conversation and connection. When you look ahead, so Hilton has named this the year of the maximizer. Talk a little bit about, from a meeting perspective, what that means.
So meeting planners and attendees both want to get as much as possible out of their meetings and events. So whether that is personal development, moving your business forward, it's making sure that everything is working as hard as it can, and understanding that that doesn't mean jamming the agenda. Making sure that people are enabled to get as much as possible out of the event, that they've been prepped in advance so that they can hit the ground running and have the right connections after the fact to continue what they learned when they were on site.
I really appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time today to explain this, and we will be presenting some of the research that was identified here and that you guys put together and worked on to help meeting planners attract and maintain the attendees that they have. So thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you.
For Trade Show News Network, Corporate Event News, and BizBash, I'm Danica Tormohlen.